Hi there and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we are in our indoor performance centre here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds. Today, as you've seen by the title of this video, we are taking a look at some of the brand new GT series of metalwoods, fairways, hybrids and driver from Titleist. So recently we were able to go and get fitted for all of this down at their fitting centre in Cambridge, which was amazing. We tried all these different products, and these are the ones that I came away with fitted for me. So the right shafts, the right head combination, and also right grips. Everything is custom to me, which was amazing. So thank you so much, Titleist, for helping us out with that. So let's have a bit of a chat about the tech of these. So I've got the GT3 Driver, GT2 Fairway wood, and GT3 Hybrid. So we're going to start with the driver. So in this range, the GT3 is one of the more compact models available. So the 2-in-1, slightly bigger profile, easier to launch, higher launch and spin in those. And as you get towards 4, which is the smallest and lowest launching and spinning, and probably the least forgiving as well, we get slightly smaller in the profile and the looks and more compact in the head design. So GT3 is kind of towards that end of, you know, maybe a little bit more compact looking, slightly less forgiving than some of the other models, but maybe aimed at that player with slightly higher club head and ball speed, and someone who's going to strike it fairly consistently. Now, some days that's me, some days that is not, but certainly when we went and got fitted, this driver just seemed to jump out and work better than all the others that we tried. So let's talk a bit about the tech in this driver. So we have a seamless thermoform crown. So basically what that does is allows Titleist to move some weight around the head, make it a little bit more forgiving in what is essentially a very players looking driver. We have the split mass construction, so that's all the way throughout the sole of the driver, changing the internal weighting as well, and almost making this weight track that we've got here, so this speed tune performance that Titleist call it, where we can move this weighting around and move the kind of, basically your strike location plays quite a big part in this as well. So when I was being fitted, we were being told about this moving closer to the face than previous models, but also the weight is kind of positioned behind where we tend to have our kind of miss. So for me, as you can see by some of the T marks on this, my miss is towards the toe of the golf club. So basically the weight's been shifted into that T1 position there, which helps me to generate a little bit more ball speed on those off-center hits, and that tends to be where I miss it. The aerodynamic package has changed quite a bit, so the kind of back and this sort of tail area of the driver has lifted up quite considerably, making the head faster, so we should see some more club speed, and hopefully that will mean more ball speed and a bit more distance as well. So we're going to hit some in here on the Trackman, but also go out on the golf course, have a bit of a chat about how we think it's performing and look at the data at the end. So really excited about this. As you can see, I've hit it quite a bit already and been very, very impressed. So we'll get into the numbers and dive into them a little bit deeper as we get into this video, but for now let's have a bit of a look at the fairway wood. So when being fitted for the fairway woods, it was GT2 that worked out best for me. So this is slightly more forgiving than the GT3, a little bit higher launching, but still that low spin profile. When I was trying it, I just found that the kind of launch that I got out of this was kind of more like what I was expecting and what I wanted. It was that little bit higher. I tend to use 3 wood kind of off the tee, but also I'll be hitting some into greens on par 5s and things like that. So, but it's more of an off the tee club for me, and I really like the deep face in this to help me do that. So we've got a new forged face in here as well, which is going to increase some of that ball speed and kind of enhance that feel that we all have become used to when using Titleist product. Again, we've got the thermoform crown on there, allowing more weight to be moved around in the head and make this a bit more forgiving. And the L face cut means that we can kind of dig it out of any lie and also not lose ball speed when we do catch those low out the face in those lies where the ball sat down a little bit. So everything about the way this is designed is to help you. We've got the just standard weight there, in the front of the 3 wood there too. You can get different weights for these heads if you want the weight profile to change a little bit and maybe change some of the spin and launch characteristics, but the one I've got in there is pretty much the standard. But certainly fairway wood, I think, sat behind the ball looks amazing. I think that kind of classic Titleist sort of shape and look to it, you know, if it's not broke, you don't need to fix it. This is a lovely looking fairway wood, and certainly from what I've seen on the golf course so far, but we'll get onto that a bit later, it performs pretty good too. And finally, we're going to take a look at hybrid. I know. Those of you that regularly watch this channel know that hybrids are really not something that I'm particularly fond of. Never had one in my golf bag ever in my life. But when I got fitted for this, we looked at sort of 7 woods and 5 woods as well. But really, for the gapping in my bag and the shots that I wanted to hit, this ticked a lot of the boxes. So this is the GT3 Hybrid, slightly more compact looking head. We've obviously got the adjustable weights in there as well. So for me, that what I've always said about hybrids when we've done reviews in the past is that I tend to hit them left a lot, right? So a lot of hybrids that you get out there are set and they're slightly more upright than many clubs, because a lot of players sort of deliver it in a certain position where that upright light is needed to help negate some of that slice that you're going to get. But the GT3 is more of a player's hybrid, if you like. So it's a slightly smaller, more compact design, something that will appeal to the eye of maybe the better player and better ball striker. But we've got lots and lots of tech in here. So it's iron-like really in its design, and kind of supposed to fit seamlessly really into your iron set rather than be a fairway wood. Personally, for me, I really like the fact that it had adjustable weight. So I was able to put the heavier one in the toe to stop some of that tendency of it turning over on me. And also the settings that we get in the short fit hosel here as well. So the one I've gone for is D1, which basically is slightly lower than the loft that's stated on the bottom, but also flattening the lie slightly, again, which is helping me to stop that left shot that I hit sometimes. And certainly, when I've played with it on the golf course, I've hit some shots that, to be honest, I've not been able to hit for years, really, because I've just not had a club in the bag to do the job. It launches really easily, but it doesn't pop the ball straight up in the air. So I've tried 7 woods and 5 woods in the past and found that they just go airborne too quickly, stall, don't go as far as I want them to. This is more like the flight I'd expect from one of my irons. And certainly when I've used it, I've just been to Turkey for a week actually and played a pro-am over there, and I used this club a hell of a lot, and it was great hitting it into some of those par 5s and off the tee as well. It was a really good club to use. Now we've spoken and looked at all of these products, we are now going to hit them on the Trackman. I'm also going to go out on the golf course here at Howley Hall and test them too. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, and hopefully you are too. So we're going to start off with hybrids. So we're going to work our way up to driver as we go. Again, like I say, I think the look's great. I think that really nice, small, kind of peanut-like design behind the golf ball looks really good. Just feels easy to use. Bit of a pulley one down the left there, but still fairly decent strike. Fell a little bit at the toe. It just feels so much easier to use, like I say, than the equivalent iron. I love the looks of it, I love the feel off the face, and I love the distance. So they're carrying around that 230 mark, that one 234, that one's carried, that last one I've just hit. So it's kind of filling that gap really nicely that I really want. So for me, 3 wood is normally around a 270 club. Driver, obviously as far as I can hit it really, and then I want that sort of club that's around the 230 to 240, somewhere in that range, to kind of help me with the gapping in my set, and this certainly does the job. I'm going to hit a load more with it, and then we'll have a bit of a look at all of the data at the end. So now we move on to the GT2 3 wood, and as I said before, this is probably a club I'm going to use off the tee more than anything. I think looks wise, it's lovely. I mean, it's exactly what you'd expect from a Titleist golf club. Looks really, really classy behind the golf ball. And yeah, feels good off the face. I think I pushed it a bit. Yeah, just have to come out the top, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a definite difference in the feel between this and the hybrid, and also the driver. We'll get onto that in a bit, but it doesn't sound quite as, I don't know, I think the GT3 stuff is a bit kind of duller sounding, a bit more of a crunch when you hit it. This is more of a tingy kind of sound as it picks it off the ground, which I quite like really. It's kind of what I've liked in fairway woods in the past is that sound really. I've used Callaway ones a lot, and it's that really nice sort of metallic kind of sound when you hit it, and that, yeah, I really like that, to be honest. It felt pretty good. Yeah, nice and straight as well. So Yeah, very, very easy to use, very forgiving, easy to launch as well. Yeah, really, really nice fairway wood. I'm going to hit a load more with this, but let's move on to the driver. Right, finally, we're going to move on to the driver, and this is one that I've used quite extensively really over the past couple of weeks. Like I said earlier, I've been to Turkey, played in the Pro-Am, hit this and absolutely loved it. A pushy one, but yeah, decent hit. When I do hit those ones that sometimes I hit off the toe, like I mentioned before, I've not seen them sort of hook and lose loads of spin like sometimes I do get. You know, it seems to have hit it that a little bit straighter for me when I've hit that shot. But pretty good. Again, a little bit flatter flight, but really keeps kind of going forwards. It's nice sort of penetrating ball flight that I'm getting with it, which I quite like. Again, felt pretty decent. Just pushed it a bit. Again, that's still on the fairway. It's not a bad shot at all. So yeah, really, really happy with the feel, happy with the looks, and certainly when I've tried them on the golf course, happy with the performance as well. I'm going to hit a load more with each of them, get a load of data, and then we'll have a bit of a chat and a talk through all of it once we've been out on the golf course and hit some too. So now we've had a chance to hit shots with each of the three golf clubs. Let's have a bit of a look. So we'll start with the Hybrid. Like I said, I want this club to land around that 230 mark and hopefully go around 240. And certainly with a little bit more than that distance-wise, but pretty close. The spin's good, so over 4,000 RPM means it's going to stop relatively quickly when it hits the ground, which is really what we want from a Hybrid. But yeah, I just felt like it was quite easy to use, it was easy to shape, I could hit draws and fades with it if I wanted to, and certainly when I've been on the golf course I've hit some shots like that as well. So I've been able to be a bit more creative with that kind of longer side of my golf game, having this Hybrid in the bag. So yeah, for the time being, I think it's a club that I'm going to persevere with and play with a little bit more and just see how I get on with it really long term. And who knows, I may be a late Hybrid convert here and have one in my bag for a long time. When we move on to GT2 in the 3 wood, pretty good. Again, the distance around 260 carry to mid 270s in terms of total distance. I'm pretty much doing what I wanted to do there. Spin a little higher than I've had in some 3 woods, and in terms of the launch as well, it just seems to kind of get up there quite quickly, which if you want a fairway wood that's going to stop fairly quickly, I think that's quite good. Now, when we move on to driver, again, it's kind of backed up what I've seen on the golf course. So that height, 102 feet, is probably a little lower than I would normally hit a driver. I'm kind of more 115 to 120 feet when I'm hitting driver generally. Spin rate down at 2.6, which is okay as well, not too bad. Ball speed, 172, 173 there as well, which is fairly decent for me too. So again, carry at sort of 294 and total at 318. So just short of my 320 mark really, which is kind of where a good drive would generally go for me if I hit it. But certainly love the looks of the driver, love the feel of it. I thought the shaft was very good as well. So that Tour AD shaft, which I've never tried before, I thought was brilliant. And it's been great to test the entire GT range with Titleist as well. So if you've got any questions about Titleist, are you going for a fitting? Have you been for a fitting? Do you already have some of the GT product in your golf bag? Let us know. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you all very, very soon.